Okay, hello everybody. We're going to just give people a few minutes to jump on to the webinar. Tonight's topic is Taos Pueblo International Ambassadors of Dance and Drum. And we have our guest panelists. We're waiting for Benito, and then I will introduce everybody. As you're jumping on to the webinar, please feel free to enter in the chat your name and where you're from. We'd love to say hello to you. Also, just a little bit of housekeeping. During the conversation, if you'd like to use the Q&A feature, we'll spend about 45 minutes chatting and reserve the last 15 minutes. Hi, Linda. Linda saying hi to everybody.
Yes, I hear she.
Everybody, I know everybody. Everybody,
good deal, Linda.
Everybody can see the chat. I know this, but the reason I verbalize it is for our future audiences who are watching the recording. They won't see the chat, so that's kind of how we make sure that everybody gets a shout out who is chatting or jumping on. So again, welcome. Tonight's topic is Taos Pueblo International Ambassadors of Dance and Drum. And we're going to wait just a couple of minutes as Benito tries to get back on. Did you hear anything from him, Kathleen?
I tried calling him.
Okay.
But I told him he can jump on with the same link.
Yeah.
No drinking.
It's water, Sonny. This is going to be fun, I can tell. Okay. I'll go ahead and start. So at the Millicent Rogers Museum, we are located on ancestral lands of the Tiwa-speaking people, known today as the Red Willow people of Taos Pueblo. We strive to deepen our relationship with the Red Willow people through collaboration while acknowledging and honoring the complex history of the Red Willow people, past, present, and future. We express gratitude to this land and to the Taos Pueblo elders and ancestors who have stewarded this land since time immemorial. So welcome. We're taking the beauty and spirit of dance and drum abroad is an act of courage, skill, and deep friendship. So we're excited tonight to have our guests, Sonny Spruce and Cornbringer Kathleen Michaels and Benito Concha with us to talk about their shared experiences of traveling internationally and sharing dance and drum, the spirit of Taos Pueblo abroad. Sonny Spruce is renowned for his beautifully crafted jewelry. His signature style of heirloom quality bracelets are treasured artworks for the wearer. Steeped in Sonny's knowledge and skill as a silversmith, Sonny is the owner and operator of Sonny Spruce Indian Shop at Taos Pueblo. Cornbringer Kathleen Michaels has worked in the art world as both beadwork and jewelry artist and gallerist. She has traveled worldwide with her family of dancers. The Millicent Rogers is honored to have Cornbringer on staff in her role as business manager. And Benito Concha, who will be joining us soon, has been sharing the lessons of singing, drum, and dance nearly his whole life. As one of Taos News' unsung heroes for 2021, Benito shared his philosophy of peaceful intentions in every endeavor. So welcome. Sarah, do you want to get us started as we wait?
I surely do. The word that is just so important to me in what you all do is the word ambassadors, because that's of course how you make new friends and find new people and understand what they think and share your own heritage and ideas. Kathleen, of course, in your role as one of the few Millicent Rogers full-time people, may I start with you? We honor that you have stuck with the museum all these years and how you have all these different roles that you play. And now to find out, because I did not know that you did international ambassadorship. How did this come about in the first place?
Well, thank you, and everybody who's joining us tonight. I'm glad to see Benito's made it too. And is there an echo?
I'm gonna move into the main building because I'm getting feedback, playback, sorry. So I'm
Okay.
gonna move into the main building.
Okay.
Okay.
So, actually, growing up with a family that's always been on call to dance, whether it's in our own village or else abroad, because we were helping to celebrate the opening of a business or with something of that nature. Our exposure was early on, at an early age. We like to say that we started dancing when we were in our mother's belly, because our mothers definitely were actively dancing while they carried us in the womb. So we got the beat right away. And then having grown up in Santa Fe and Taos, there was a great immersion into the arts, and having other artists who did other types of media. There had to be somebody with the knowledge to herd everybody's skills and to present them. So my interest came when the repatriation started for the tribes to get involved with museum studies. So I studied in the Institute of American Indian Arts in Santa Fe, and I also minored in theater. So I had a great time there with the different instructors and guest actors like Wes Studi. But because of these two gentlemen, Benito and Sonny, they're the ones that had all the contacts to us to countries. They're the ones who opened those doors.
I'm gonna say really quickly, I'm off my video, so I can walk around. The internet connection is unstable for some reason, and I'll keep trying while Sarah.
Oh my. It seems like each time we're faced with yet one more challenge of the technical. I'm so sorry. But you're talking about essentially lifetime in the arts, Kathleen, and artist in what you do at the museum, artist in family, artist in your own artwork, and then of course in the dance that you have taken so many places. Sonny, if you would pick this up here now, please. And Kathleen most generously is saying that you and Benito have the contact. So I'd love to hear about that. Of course, your name is known for decades. So go for it.
Decades. Well, it began with, I met this German actor. His name is Hardy Kuger. He was pretty well known in Germany. And so I got connected with him, and we did a little documentary filming about Taos and New Mexico and throughout the Pueblo people. And most of it was filmed out at Taos Pueblo. And then things went on. I met this lady that was doing a tour group at Taos Pueblo, and she asked me if I was interested in going a tour of Germany. I think this was back in the late 80s, I guess, early 90s, more or less. And so I got the group together, and one of them was Benny Mike, and among 5 other people. So we just we got our passports together, and then we head on out to Germany, and we ended up in Hamburg and went to a place, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's in the northern part of Germany. It's close to the North Sea. And all I remember that it was raining and raining and raining every single day we were there. But we had a really good performance. We even had a live TV show on German television, and we danced live on TV. And then we went to a lot of schools, and we went to auditoriums, and we just had a great time, because of the culture over there is so different. And the other thing that I found that was very, very interesting with us was they have Indian clubs over there. The German people very, very interested in the Indian Native American culture, and so we were invited to go visit them and do things with them, and which we did, and we combined it all together, and it was just incredible how together they were with Native American dancing. They had beautiful beadwork, the costumes that they made themselves, which we do ourselves also. But I was surprised that they had eagle feathers. I mean, real eagle feathers. Benny Mike saw that too, and he was just like, surprise, surprise, surprise. So anyhow, we had a good time, and we ate well, and the people that sponsored us treat us very well. After all our dancing, we went to Berlin, to the wall. Yeah, this was in '89, because the Berlin Wall came down in December of '89, and we were there like in November, I think, in November, if I'm right, it was in November, because we went to Charlie's Checkpoint, and we went to see the Berlin Wall, and just all sorts of things that we were shown throughout the, Deutschland. They call it Deutschland. I never heard it before. People used to just say Germany, the Americans, but when we got over there, it was Deutschland, and we learned that the Deutschland people accepted us really, really well, and there's other places that we went on that trip also, and I did a number of things before we went there. I even did a TV talk show in NDR in Hamburg, a live TV show with Hardy Kruger and among other people that were well known in their country that I had no idea who they were. The only person I knew was Hardy Kruger. And so we had a live TV show for 2 hours set under those lights. And I had a wonderful time. And the documentary was shown that we did here in New Mexico was shown the same week we were there. So everything was a boost for us. We had a lot of audience in auditoriums. Sometimes the auditoriums would be full in schools. The schools that we entertained, that they were full, that the kids just went berserk. I mean, they're to see a real, as they say, some people would say, to see a real Native American person dancing in front of them, and so. I remember at one time we were doing this dancing, and we invite everybody to dance with us at the last part of our dance group. And so I went over to this, this guy says, he motioned to me and says, take my son out to dance, the little boy. So I went over there, my face was all painted, looked kind of wild, so. And so I went over there and stuck my hand out for the little boy. Boy, did he started crying. Jesus, he just screamed. And I told the guy, I can't do it, because the kid is upset. And so that's one of the things that I do remember. But we had a wonderful time with Benny Mike and among other people that we took, So that's one trip that we did, and other places that we've gone with Kathleen to Italy, around Milan and Venice, and throughout the area where we danced for schools, scuola for schools, and we had a wonderful time. And there's more to say, but I'll end it here if you guys want me to elaborate.
Thank you, Sonny. I just want
I'd like to jump in here because most people don't understand how important this German connection is. I happen to know, as there are a lot of Germans in my family, the fascination with all things Native American started now in the 1800s. The recently deceased Southwestern painter, Paul Contney, who was German, he was influenced in Germany as a child because there were Native American mystery and adventure novels written. There were museums of all kinds of artifacts brought. And so where you started, no wonder you had such a response. People must have eaten up everything that you all did, especially the children, as you said, that they were just going nuts for it. So I can certainly understand, and who knew if you hadn't been part of that. And so, Benito, since we've got a hold of you now, won't you tell us about your participation?
Hello, everyone. My name is Benito Concha. I'm sitting here from Taos Pueblo, and just want to say thank you for inviting me to be on this panel, and that everything that is being talked about is important as far as ambassadorship. Every Native person that leaves their homeland and their indigenous lands become ambassadors wherever you go, whether it's in the town or in the next city or in the next country or the next continent. These are very important conversations that need to take place with Native people, how our teachings and everything that we bring about into the world are important. And it's always good to keep what is sacred and ceremonial at home. And it's always good to take what is social out into the world. So I'll start with that because that's where we came from. Anytime Sonny would invite me to go to another country or another city or another state to perform, that was always first and foremost. We took the dances and the songs and the drum that we were told this is what you can share out there, and this is what we did. For me, going to Germany with Sonny and our crew there was very important because I think that was the first time I stepped outside the North America, and it was very interesting. Everything that Sonny says, I'm laughing to myself because there were so many hilarious moments. But it is true. We were there before the wall came down, and as we do, and as we are, and as we live in our daily lives, myself, I took some stuff that we have from the Pueblo, a little bit of cornmeal. We always carry that, and we always feed. And that night before we left Berlin, actually, Richard Archuleta and I walked around Berlin, and we could see the wall, and we could see the parliament, and we walked over, and there's this little river. We just went and did our thing. And then the next morning we woke up, and there was a breakfast brunch being served, and we got the report that there was a brother and sister that escaped with scuba diving gear from the east into the west. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. I'm glad somebody was able to escape one of the biggest prisons in the world. So, and that morning we went to the parliament, and I was like, oh, we were here last night walking around, and the next thing you know, it was pretty early. We looked a little closer, and where we had been was some taped off area, and the German police were there. And that was the exact same spot. We were there last night, but maybe a couple hours later, a brother and sister escaped in the exact same area. So that was pretty profound for me and my very first experience in another country, to see that something like that had happened. And, it's nothing by chance that we were there with our songs and our dances and what we carry as Taos Pueblo people and indigenous people from this land, of what we took there to help explain and to share with the people that came to these presentations. They're really informed. I danced the hoop dance, Taos Pueblo Red Willow hoop dance. I danced the Taos Pueblo version of the Eagle dance. We have our own songs, and our singer was Richard Archuleta, and him and I have traveled many places in this world as well. I just want to give a shout out to Richard. He's got the most incredible, beautiful voice that has always taken us. Those are the songs that have taken us around the world. So, the trip to Germany was very educational. Learned a lot. Learned how to share without using language. The language was a barrier for sure. But also being in a country where, growing up, we knew that we were in war with them in the World War, and a lot of our men from the Pueblo had been there, and some of them didn't make it back. So that was in the back of my mind too. But at that same time, the performance and the presentations really made me feel strong to represent Taos Pueblo, and with who I was with, and the presentations we gave were very powerful. And I'm sure that a lot of people still will remember and have been remembering our voice, our dance, and our songs till today. Yes.
Thank you. The idea of being able to be up close and personal is such a joy. And thank you for mentioning Richard, who is a dear, of course. One thing that occurs to me is Benito, if you will mute for a second, I think somehow we've got interference there. Wherever it's coming from, I'm not quite sure. Out the ether. You talked about how dance, of course, is a sacred experience and participation, and yet it is possible in the social aspects to take elements and convey them as part of heritage to others. And perhaps, Kathleen, do you want to speak to how the difference is? Because that's something I'm sure some participants won't understand.
So I'm understanding you want to know what the cultural differences are when we go to these places?
In your own words, how to be respectful and how to understand that all of the dance and drumming and the songs comes from a very spiritual place, and so it's quite personal, and the sharing can be only the social aspects.
Yeah, so I thank Benito for bringing that into the discussion here, because it's true that we're very conscientious from our own community of what we can and cannot share. And so the social dances that we've taken abroad were actually some dances that came to us from other tribes as well. So they become social dances that can be shared. And we would never do anything that was taboo to take any ceremonies or songs and dances that are only intended for our people or for the places where they originate from. So, you know, we would never falsely identify something as something that it's not. And also we would never use songs that belong to a family if we didn't already have permission from them and their blessings to be sharing certain songs. And so at least what we've taken abroad and we've shared and shown can be recorded, and it can be photographed, aside from like what you cannot do at the Taos Pueblo. We're so very guarded on the sacred practices of things that cannot be shared. So we safeguard that ourselves for our own well-being. And so a lot of times too, I think one of the things that's kind of hard is that some people that are watching want an explanation of everything, like, why did you do that? Why are you holding that feather? Or, you know, why is your drumstick that color? Or something, you know, just silly things. But, and, you know, maybe they do have some significance, but it's kind of silly because whenever you go to a performance, just say for instance, when we went to Japan and we got to see the Kabuki theater, you know, you take it in for what it is. You don't sit there trying to ask somebody, hey, what's that guy doing? You know, how come it's all men here or something like that? So I don't know if I answered your question, but I think that we're just really mindful and careful.
Thank you. And that was most gracious, a very nice way that you put it in front of our audience. And something, Benito, if I may go back to you, because you are very much in healing arts. And to me, music and dance has often a very healing aspect to it, and all tied in with the spiritual and the earth and general well-being. And do you use any of these things in your practices?
Yes, thanks for asking that about that. Medicine Mountain Massage is based in my whole life. Growing up, I would be sitting there at a powwow or dancing and listening to the drum beat, and then they would say, okay, all the little ones sit down and all the adults get to dance. I'd be sitting there and there's that beat, boom, 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 they're dancing. And I'd be sitting there and then me just probably having a jazz kind of mindset. I'm going, you know, and so I thought, well, that can be my dance steps. So as I danced, those dance steps were like going with that heartbeat. And then I would be dancing to the rhythm that was going in my head. And then I started playing music, playing drums, and that's one of the venues that took me many places in the world. Drumming with the Taos Pueblo traditional drums and a native rock band, acoustical rock band. And so I used that same element and thinking of how to take that drumming forward with the heartbeat. I'm holding on to the heartbeat here. So as I move forward in my life, I'm thinking about like everything, like how many places have I been that I talk about the drum and the heartbeat of the world. And I think about it and I think about it, and it's basically everywhere. We're all indigenous to one part of the world or another. So in our DNA, we have the DNA of the ancestors. And that's where when you play the drum and you hit that drum and you play that heartbeat, it connects, it taps in, it triggers that DNA to say, oh, there's something about this. So it's in depth, it's already built into everybody in the world. And so with that, I use the essence of that heartbeat in a gourd sound healing. So I have a gourd that makes the sound of the water, and it invites the person to be imaginative of where they've been near the water, whether it's a stream or an ocean or even the rain, and then it gets them into the grounding place. And then I bring the other elements of a rattle, a drum, other musical instruments, and I do the sound healing. And one of those elements will touch base next to the heartstring, you can say, that will bring about their sense of what they need to connect with, so then they can connect with the ancestral DNA, because they knew how to heal everything. They knew how to heal through song and dance. And I have to say, the reason why I use it is because the drum is such an important element in indigenous life here at Taos Pueblo, as well as everywhere in the world. And that drum also, without it and without singing, there is no human life, no human celebration. And without human celebration, depression sets in, and there wouldn't be life, basically. And so that's why this whole idea of sound healing, I use traditional instruments to do that. And I've learned this. I take little elements that I've learned from different places in the world, and I'll integrate it into a sound healing session. And I've been involved in so many of them that it's the person that brings out that quality where I need to go with the music.
Wow. You can certainly see how you have, this is not just a profession, it's an avocation and a life's work for you. And my family were musicians, so I hear the words. Of course, I cannot fully appreciate from your heritage and all. And yet art saves lives. Quite obviously. And so if I can move on, Sonny, we are not ignoring you. You're so patient to tell us more about your art, because you have been a tireless promoter. Everything that you have done is for all of us, not just for your Taos Pueblo family. And so give us a précis of all the things you're into.
Well, I'm a self-taught silversmith. Nobody really taught me how to do it, but I was very interested in how it was done, because I say to myself, I could do that. I can do that. And so and so. So I encouraged myself to really sit down, because I had all the tools, I had the torch, basically everything that I needed right in front of me. And so I self-taught myself. It's a good thing that silver was $2.50 an ounce back then. Now it's in the neighborhood of $19 and some odd cents, Hell, it could be $20 today, But I was self-taught and finally just caught on. One day it just, boom, it just happened. Just like Benny Mike says, like a heartbeat. It just came in into me. So I started doing things so and so. And after, that was in 1973 or 4 that happened, that I started making jewelry. And just this morning, I finished some of the jewelry that I made. And the bracelet that I was polishing this morning, I sold it today. And a lot of people come to Taos Pueblo from all over the world, actually, every walks of life, many languages that I've heard at Taos Pueblo. Taos Pueblo is internationally known all over the world, because I talk to a lot of people from all over the world, from people from China just that came in today, people from India, we get a lot of British people, Italians, and down below Australia, New Zealand, and throughout the country. Sometimes I even had a Russian guy that came in just today. And he was looking at all the money that I have in the background that's hanging there from throughout the years. And so, and in the dancing part, I was always interested in dancing, but it's pretty hard to get a costume, you know, like a dancing roach, a bustle, some beadwork, you know, and moccasins and so and so. I mean, you can't just go to a store and buy this stuff. And if you do find it, it's very expensive, you know. But back then, I mean, you know, we almost had to make our own or borrow somebody else's or so and so. And I just wanted to dance, just dance, you know, because once you hear that drum beat, you just want to start moving your body, you know, you just, you know, boom, 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 you know, get into it. Benny knows, Kathleen knows how it feels when you feel that drum, you know, because it's in our DNA that something about that drum that makes you get pumped up in dancing, you know, and it seems like you can just go on and on and on dancing, you know, like Benny Mike did the hoop dance and the eagle dance, and we did mostly the traditional type of dance that I do now. I started out doing the fancy dance. Now I'm more like traditional dancing now, and just traveling all over the United States, Niagara Falls, Washington D.C., you know, L.A., Denver, the March Powwow, and all those places that we went to. The Crow Fair, that's one of the biggest gathering of nations of powwow, TP City in Crow Agency, Montana, and so and so. And the gathering of nations, the first ones that they had, I used to go down there, but I don't go down there anymore because there is so many people there. It's just incredible is how many people shows up all over from the country, from Florida to Washington State to New York to, I mean, everywhere, you know, people from everywhere, all the people that are coming together at the Albuquerque Gathering of Nations. But just going back to our travels, the countries that I've been was like Germany, and we went to Switzerland and Italy, and we even went to Poland, and I danced in Krakow, Poland, and that was pretty interesting. We danced on the plaza, and all these people that comes together, they hear the drum beat, and it attracts people, something about the drum that pulls people together. And we used to have we start dancing on this plaza area, and all of a sudden we have a whole crowd of 200-300 people, you know, just watching us and so and so. But I love those type of things that we attract people, and they know exactly where we're from. We're Native American Indian dancers, and it's something about Native American people, something that attracts them, you know, especially Germans and Italian people, even in Poland, of all places, you know. But I love doing those places like that, and I tend to go one more time or maybe 2 times back to Europe. If I am walking, I can dance. That's the way. That's my way of thinking. If I'm still walking, I can dance. You know, and I'm sure Benny and Kathy would agree with that. You know, we're all dancers. It's in our blood, DNA.
That is certainly the truth, and I can attest to that. Even we longtime Westerners who've family's been here for a number of generations. You visit to a powwow or to one of the feast days, and it is impossible not to begin to stamp one's own foot. And there is something about pushing a thought, a prayer to Mother Earth as this happens. It happens instantly to me, and I really enjoy doing that. We volunteer a great deal for events to be helpers, and it's an absolute delight. I think
it's good. It's good because we traveled all over the country just for even powwows. Me and a friend of mine years ago, we even went to Niagara Falls. We took a plane from Albuquerque clear to Buffalo, New York, and traveled to Niagara Falls and for the weekend, and we danced there a couple of times at the Turtle Museum. I guess a lot of people have heard about it, but I don't know if that place is still open or not. But it's in Niagara Falls, the Turtle Museum. We danced there a couple of times. And, you know, like Washington, D.C., we danced there with Benny Mike. Boy, was it hot there, humid. Jesus, I never perspired so much in all my life. 4th of July, you know, but I enjoy it. I enjoyed being around people. I you know, like I said before, I meet people from all over the world at Taos Pueblo. I have a shop there, so I talk to a lot of people, and I make them feel welcome. Always say hello, laugh, be happy, just take care of yourselves, and so. You know, laughter does amazing things to the head and body. You know, makes you feel good because we laugh. It's in our nature that we joke, like Native American people. When 3 or 4 or 5 guys get together, there's a certain type of humor in our DNA type of. I can joke with a guy from Oklahoma, Montana, or South Dakota, and we're basically the same. We're at the same level, you know, just joking, and so. And you can't do that with other nationalities, but with Native American people, especially when girls get together, man, they giggle, and all that stuff. But it's in the humor of laughing and be happy and just basically just feel good about yourself and make other people feel good, you know. And that's my way of doing things, you know, making person welcome to Taos Pueblo, because I've done some traveling myself, and I was welcome all the places that I've gone to. So I would like to be treated the same way I treat the people that comes to Taos Pueblo to visit. That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sonny, is your shop currently within the Pueblo, or is it in a separate building?
in the Pueblo, Taos Pueblo.
On the south side.
Yeah, on the south side.
Yes, tell us more so people can come and visit you.
Yeah, well, just ask for Sonny Spruce. Everybody seems to know me.
Of course they do.
The little kids know. Maybe even the dogs.
Well,
I feed some
you
of
know,
the dogs out.
there is a certain amount of curiosity when another person is so open with their arts and their feelings and the humor, and curious in the most mannerly way, not meaning to be intrusive, but meaning to make a connection, meaning to learn new things. And so that kind of segues me into asking Kathleen, this is very much part of the mission of the museum, is that outreach and bringing people in to to show the extraordinary beauty and heritage.
Absolutely. So our mission is to share and celebrate the arts and cultures of the Southwest. And so, you know, we're lucky that we're in the heart of so much happening, and the place where there's been the crossroads of so many indigenous tribes since time immemorial, before contact. So that's very much part of the people that we are. We know how to have exchange, and we also know how to draw the line when we have to. So we close the village when we have to, and it's beautiful that the museum has built a relationship during my tenure with Taos Pueblo, so that there's a voice and representation, and we do group shows here and pop-up events for Taos Pueblo. And I have to say that when I was a little girl and I was with Benito's family and we were performing in 1976 at the Denver History Art Museum, they were building a new exhibit there for the wildlife. And they said, hey, you were getting a break. And this curator came and said, would you like to have a behind the scenes exhibit? I mean, a tour. And I was like, yeah, let's go. So I remember being there. I don't remember who else was there because I was so enthralled with how the exhibits were being assembled and what it really took. And she just laid it all out. You know, none of these leaves are real. We make each leaf by hand. So that was the moment I said, I want to work in a museum. And so the fact that I actually followed my dream, which went back to when I was barely like in 7th grade. Okay, now I'm dating myself. But, you know, you just never know how the exchanges that we've had and where they've taken us, where it was going to forge our path.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we're just, I'm happy to be here. And I'm glad I could be here with my 2 brothers that always took very great care of me and my sisters, whoever was along. Because, you know, when we've gone to these foreign countries, they're expecting the warriors with their feathers, but they never expected the women. And they're like, in Italy, they're like, is she real? You know, yeah, I'm real. You want me to pinch you back? Because it's a compliment there. So, but, you know, I thank them tremendously. And I know that these are paths that have been opened and forged with some other great nations and people in other countries where, yes, we've had war with from the United States. Like even when we went to Japan and we performed there because of Benito's interaction with Kodo, you know, the one thing you know is that music is the universal language. So no matter what, even if there's that language barrier, there's that song and dance that brings us all together, and we're laughing and we're singing together. And Richard Archuleta could be speaking Tiwa, and the Italians could be speaking Italian, and they're having this conversation. Neither one really knows what they're saying, but they're really having a good time.
Mhm.
Well-
I'm going to jump in, Sarah.
Okay.
So I want to thank everybody for their patience. I really appreciate Sarah for kind of taking things over, and I focused on going to find a stable internet connection. And so I appreciate you guys continuing with the program. I do want to say there's a question in the Q&A that I want to put out there since we're kind of getting towards the end. And so Juan Isidro Concha is asking, is there any difference that occurs to you when dancing abroad versus dancing here at home? And the question is for all 3 panelists.
Well, you know, it's different. It's different because if you're in a foreign country, you know, you don't know exactly how you're going to be received, how they understand, and so and so. But when, like I was saying earlier, with the German people in Deutschland, they were all prepared because they've done their homework, And we come to their country and dance, and they practically joined us because they know our culture. But like here to dance here in America and so, everybody intervened because like a powwow, because everybody knows the songs of powwow. They're like people in Montana would pick up some songs that are living down in Florida, or New York, could be the West Coast, and the powwow music are internationally, you know, like not international, but from different parts of the United States. It all combines in one. So that's what a powwow is all about. People getting together and having a good time, a powwow. But it's just a matter of, I think it's personal with a lot of people, how they dance, because everybody's different. We have different movements and so, but it's quite interesting how some people do things, but we're there for one thing, is to have a good time, to enjoy each other's and to go on.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
The first time I volunteered at Powwows, I was reluctant when the dance master invited people who were not Native Americans, who were not part of the celebration, to come and dance. And I thought, oh, gee, I'd love to do that. And next time they announced that, boy, I was right up there, because that's the best part, is the sharing in some small way of your heritage and the generousness that you all show in being willing to share these wonderful things with everybody. And which brings me to a question about our audience may want to know when they can participate as viewers at Powwow or at other events. Are there any things coming up that are available to the public?
Right at the moment, I don't know right now, because it's a lot of powwows are held during the summertime, outdoors and weather permitting. Usually during the winter months, they have powwows like in big auditoriums or gyms, you know, like a gym where they play basketball, and so everything is like indoors during the winter months. Probably now you can get on the internet and find out all the events that's happening through the United States. It's easy to find out now with the internet.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great privilege to be able to be a helper at these events, and because in the end, you learn so much about it that it's really quite extraordinary. Pardon my telephone there. The thing I wanted to ask is, are there, do you have a preference? Benito, maybe you have a preference. Do you care to dance outside or inside, or does it matter?
I don't think it matters. It's wherever the drum is being drummed and the singer is, whether it's inside, outside, on top of the mountain, in nature, with no human being watching, and just for the land itself. It could be in the desert, just the sake of dancing. You know, I don't really relate to that question, because, you know, throughout my life, I'll just get my dance outfit, whether and a singer, and my style, and my hoops or my wings, and then I'll just have them, let's go dance, and we'll go. Or I'll take a tape and just put my regalia on and go dance somewhere. And I think it's your intention and the purpose of it is that even though nobody's watching, there is watchers. There are
Yes.
the trees and, you know, the animals or whatever is out there listening. And, you know, you're never alone. So yeah, I think there was a question. That's one of the questions that was on the chat for viewers, and part of that answer for, I think it's one is Cedro, is that dance anywhere, whether it's for ceremonies or for powwows or for a presentation. Dance is the dance, and lifelong dancers, you know, we'll dance everywhere where spirit takes us, and wherever the dance is invited and welcomed.
I think that pretty well sums up that it's the spirit of the dance and the words of the song, the vocables, whatever it may be, the beat of the drums, and it doesn't matter where you are.
I'm going to go ahead and thank our panelists and end our program. It's just about 7 now. I need to let everybody know the museum is open 10 to 5, 7 days a week until November 1st. Then we are closed on Wednesdays from November through March. And our new exhibition, Southwest Reflections, In Between Shadows of the Land, opens this weekend with a free public reception on Saturday, October 8th from 5:30 to 7:30. We're also having kids art workshop programs and panel discussions as part of the associated programs with this exhibition through October. This Sunday's workshop is exploring serigraphs or silk screening, if you're more familiar with that term, from 1 to 2. And this exhibition and programs are sponsored by New Mexico Arts, the Lano Foundation, and the Taos Community Foundation. So be sure and share with your friends and come out and see that new exhibition. And thank you again so much for joining us on Millicent Unplugged. Thank you.
And thank you, Kathleen, so much for everything you do in all the hats that you wear. That old-fashioned saying that we girls manage about 110% on usual basis. You manage 120 without skipping a beat. And so does Karen.
Yeah.
And boys, you do a great job too. We just like the girls a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.